To our next story. For the country's number 3 man and Senate president, Tr0ubl Akpabio, this is a period when life becomes more challenging than usual. A time when one faces a sea of troubles. Now, 56 prominent civil society organizations, CSOs we call them, have called on the Senate president to step aside following a Court of Appeal ruling.
In the same line, with what has transpired with Senator Akpabio of recent, Senate President Akpabio, from Natasha to that of the professor that rigged him, that rigged the election for him, who is currently in jail. In the same line, under normal circumstances, if he was an honorable man, he would have honorably resigned. Or his party will tell him to resign, but to refuse. As I speak to you, okay, before I proceed, I think it about a couple of years ago, President Ramaphosa of South Africa was a vice president to the AFP president, Jacob Zuma then. But there were some issues, and his party told him, resign. The president resigned, and the vice took over. But in Nigeria, that is impossible. Following the court judgment, the appeal court judgment that sent the professor that rigged Akpabio, election for him, that sent him to prison. Right now, 56 civil society, civil organization, they filed petition that Akpabio must resign. If caution did not tell him to resign, if all the voices of Nigeria did not tell him to resign, 56 civil organizations, let's all happen. Please, as you watch this video, I beg of you, if you mean well for Nigeria, if you are fed up of the shenanigans of our rulers, nobody will advise you or beg you to share this video. You have to like it so on Facebook and YouTube can recommend for many people to see. But by all means, share this video, I beg you. Thank you.
Now we'll go to our next story. For the country's number 3 man and Senate president, Tr0ubl Akpabio, this is a period when life becomes more challenging than usual. A time when one faces a sea of troubles. Now, 56 prominent civil society organizations, CSOs we call them, have called on the Senate president to step aside following a Court of Appeal ruling in Calabar that upheld the conviction of Professor Peter Ogban for electoral fraud committed in 2019. That's concerning the Akpabio Northwest senatorial election. The CSOs who insist that a ruling which questions the legitimacy of Akpabio's mandate means he, Senator Akpabio, must temporarily step aside. The coming days are interesting ones. Mikhail.
Why should he step aside?
Why?
This is the height of. This is. It has reached a point now that so-called CSOs get used easily by politicians. There's a desire to kick Akpabio out of his job because they believe that he's a stabilizer of this regime. So, look, in that election, I remember that election. I played a big part in even getting security men to go and rescue core members who were held. So they can't tell me anything about the election. Akpabio won only one local government in his entire senatorial district, and it's Tr0ubl, where he comes from.
That is.
So somebody lost an election by a huge margin. It was a rout against him. He did not get into the Senate, on account of that election. You are now saying that 8 years after, or how many years after? 4 years after the election that was conducted, 4 years after that he won, he should now give up his seat. Stupid. What kind of, how do our people, what is going on in our country? He won only one local government. He lost. Ekpayon defeated him hands down. And Ekpayon got the chance to use, to exercise his mandate. He didn't win. If he had won now, you could say, okay, he benefited from electoral fraud. Many people benefit from electoral fraud. In our country, and they get by. In this case, that guy wanted to rig. He didn't even succeed in rigging. Because the then wreck, this our friend, the activist, Igini, stopped him in his tracks. Yeah. Igini, all the form EC8A, where they write results.
Yeah.
Igini asterisk every form that came out of his office. I've never seen a wreck like Igini. He's a national hero, somebody that we should actually give a position. But in a country where we don't value the truth, they made sure that Igini was not elevated to national commissioner. It's a terrible thing that we do to good people in our country. Igini asterisk every form where election result is imputed. So if you bring any other results, because people are fond of cloning INEX documents, despite their efforts to make it difficult, people will clone and then sell to politicians. So politicians will now write fake results. Igini made sure that it didn't happen under his watch. Because once he checks his own initial, his signature was not there. It's a nullity. So rigging didn't take place. Igini didn't permit the rigging to take place. Now, for the effort that person made to rig, they put him in Islam. They put him on trial. So rigging didn't even take place. Technically speaking, rigging did not take place because Igini did not permit the rigging to take place. So you can't even say that the man benefited from rigging. He lost. So if he had gotten into the National Assembly, we could say yes, with what we had. Yes, he benefited from rigging. He did it. He won only one local government. He was well defeated. And he contested it in the tribunal. He also lost. So how do you then say that, okay, many years down the line, he should step aside? Every little thing, somebody complains about something, you say he should step aside. Bukola Saraki, he was going to court. Every time he's going to court, they will shut down the Senate. He will go to court. He opened his mouth to say somebody should step aside. When you were on trial, the Code of Conduct Tribunal, did you step aside?
Okay.
I mean, what's going on?
He will go for the Code of Conduct Bureau and
they will follow him to the place.
And then back to
the place to go and preside again. He didn't step down. And that's the person put on trial. Now somebody makes an allegation that nobody
with no evidence.
No evidence. We've been appealing to her, bring your evidence. Bring a voice note where the man is toasting you. Bring evidence. You are not bringing evidence. And you are saying you step aside.
Different kinds of narrative to say, look, and we are now saying that, look, if Professor Wike is telling us this, bring the evidence. And you see, one thing we have to look at is that whether we like a government, a public official or not,
we must be committed to the truth.
We must be committed to the truth. And we cannot, we have to be, because when you are looking at fairness, the fairness must involve everybody. Not that you will say that you can only be fair to people who are making accusations
or people that you hate.
Because somebody accused me of an offense doesn't mean it is true. The only way it can
even
be
if you are fond of doing that,
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter whether I've done it 10 times before.
It doesn't matter.
That is not law. That is not law. He who alleges must prove.
You must prove.
If you tell me, even if I've been doing it forever, if you want to allege that I've done something, you must bring
your
proof.
evidence.
That is what the law is. You cannot just say that, oh, this guy.
And then you sentence a man. You find a man guilty without evidence.
You can't do that.
You are making sense.
Then every time they will say you should step aside. Step aside for what? Characters. I call them CSOs. How can they come there?
A lot of them are fake. There was a time that some people
just use it to make money.
The military, when I was criticizing them for badly handling the insurgency, they got some people to write a petition against me. To our CEO. So the CEO, when he called me, I said, let us first establish whether these people exist. We checked. The fake website that they quoted did not exist. The fake, what's it called? That they also put there, the address. We sent our courier man from here, our dispatch. The place did not exist. It was in Tr0ubl. It did not exist. So a lot of these people, they just make. I said, look, they don't exist. I told our CEO, I said, they don't exist. They don't wanted to silence me. They don't exist. They said,
how can you have somebody to step aside for an election that was not that he lost? That was the loss.
He lost by wide margin.
Was that for what?
Out of about 10 local government, one only one, and you are still saying they should punish him for losing an election. Come on.
All right, folks.
Does this show logic?
Well, the debate, let it continue in your part of town, but we are done here. Time is a master. But let's thank Babajide Kolade Otitoju. BKO, thank you for your intervention.
Yes.
No less so, Mayor Akpabio, we thank you.
Thank you.